Getting it. You guys are cheating the system here. Looks like those two figured out a way around my fence here. I might have to add some more rails in between those pipes to prevent that from happening, but on the other hand, I'm kind of like, is it really that big of a deal? Well, you guys have made yourself right at home in here, haven't you? Almost got every one of them in there. Yeah, that's probably why. Looks like these calves are ready for a refill. The plan today was to spread manure, but while I was greasing the manure spreader up, I noticed that I have a little bit of a problem. First thing I noticed was here on the axle, you can see that these pieces are spreading apart and there is a clean part of the shaft showing. After I noticed that, I decided, well, I wonder if I can wiggle the spreader a little bit. And sure enough, if I rock back and forth on this thing, it actually is sliding back and forth on that shaft. As near as I can figure, there's two things going on here that's allowing this to happen. The first is that these tabs that are used to mount the axle to the spreader body itself are bent in. These are made out of what my eye sees as about 3/16 inch plate, and that is way too thin for what these are designed to do. I can't believe, honestly, that this was designed this way. This should have at least been quarter, but honestly, probably even thicker than that. So instead of use this thing today, I guess we'll be backing it in the shop to work on it. And if I can get this fixed in a reasonable amount of time, I might even get a few loads spread out this afternoon, but I'm not really holding my breath. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Now, see, you're messing it up. This would work. All right, I guess we're heading back home. Okay, get in. Come on, Benny. Get in. Get in. I know you can get up on the floorboard. We're back here in the shop now. Let me pull one of these wheels off and I'll show you kind of what my idea is. I think this is going to be a pretty simple fix, probably something that should have been done a long time ago, but this spreader is from the 40s and it's lasted this long, so maybe I shouldn't criticize that design too much, but I've got a way to make it better, so let me show you what that is. Okay, I see daylight under those tires now. This should go straight down and it doesn't. It goes in a little bit. So I think what I can do is use a bar clamp to pull this out and get it straight. And then we can clean up the outside edge here and weld some gussets in so this doesn't happen again. I'm thinking I can just pull it right here. See there, it's already looking better. Well, I've been looking at this, trying to figure out the best way to reinforce it without getting in the way of anything else. And I think I've come up with what I think is the best plan. And that is I'm going to take some of this 1.5 inch angle iron. This looks like it's about 3/16 of an inch thick. And we'll use this as our reinforcement. And I think to do this right, or the best way to do it, is going to be to take a couple of these bolts off and then we'll drill holes in the angle iron to just make this all sit in here and look nice. And it'll be stronger. It's not all about the looks. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to replace these anyway. They're just spinning. That one came off, look at that. We'll see. Finally. Well, we'll see how much this moves now when we take it off. Yeah, it moved a little bit, but not bad. Oh, careful, careful. I'm here to help. Well, normally I don't show both sides of a project like this because usually both sides are the same, but in this case they are not. On this side of the manure spreader, I've got all the drivetrain basically, and I've got to get this big drive sprocket off and out of the way so that I can access that axle hanger mount, whatever we're calling it. The sprocket is actually keyed onto the hub in addition to having these 4 bolts. The bolts came off surprisingly easy. I'm not so sure about the keyways here. I mean, keyway is not really the right term, but that's what I'm gonna call them. So hopefully with a gentle little tap with a soft mallet, this thing will pop right off. If not, then we'll have to get a little more aggressive with it, I guess. Oh yeah. You just never know. Something like that could come right off no problem, or it could really fight you. We got lucky, I guess. Well, the more I look at this, the more I think I've just got to get all of this stuff off of the axle to really get proper access in there. I could probably weld it the way it is, but it would be so hard to do the cleanup work and to really do things the right way. So I don't know, everything on this spreader has come apart fairly easily up to this point, so it kind of makes me think this is worth trying. So let's try it. In fact, I bet the hardest part is getting this cotter pin out. This thing is a monster. Oh, hey, Callie, what are you doing? You just coming to say hi? Is that puppy driving you up a wall? You had to get away from her for a minute? If I had better channel locks. Okay, this might work. If I just kind of work it up, try to pinch it close, work it up, pinch it close, just back and forth like that. Maybe something miraculous might happen here. Oh, look at that. Boy, that is one big cotter pin. The hub and the axle is actually one thing that I've never messed with on this spreader. It's always seemed to work fine. So I don't really know how this comes apart, but we're gonna learn together. This just slides off, which I think it does. It feels like there's a spring in there. There's really no plan here. You just kind of keep taking stuff off till you get the thing you want. inside this hub, there are these ratcheting, I guess you call them pawls. And the reason that these are here is because we have a live axle. Well, what these allow you to do is when you go around turns, it allows your tires to turn at different speeds while still driving the chain. So that's why it's like this. My concern is that when I pull the hub all the way off, the springs are gonna shoot these pawls out, and it's gonna be really tough to get them put back together. So my idea is to take some zip ties here, and we're gonna use the zip ties to collapse them essentially and kind of hold them where they're supposed to go. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it works. There you go. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, look at that. That's amazing. There. There we go. Well, if a wrench won't hold them, maybe vice grips will. See, I knew I was about ready to break it. Well, I guess I need to tie this axle up with something. Oh, look how loose that is. Even the bolts that are still on there, I didn't loosen them that much with the impact. So this thing, this needed attention for sure. Come off of there. I might be able to get it. There we go. Well, that ended up being a little bit bigger job than I expected, which should be no surprise. But this thing feels really solid now, and not only were those tabs bent, as you guys saw, but some of those bolts were loose as well. So this thing was probably an accident waiting to happen, and it's a good thing that I noticed that shaft was moving before it like completely came separated from the spreader. Another thing that I noticed is that when I engage the drivetrain, it engages a lot easier now than it ever has before. That's kind of been an ongoing problem with the spreader. Sometimes I could tell that like things just were not lining up properly, but I could never understand why that was. And now I think I figured it out. Unfortunately, it's too late to start spreading manure today, so I guess I just got to go ahead and park this thing again. But at least now I know when I am ready to spread manure, this is going to be ready for me. Well, they've almost got it done here. I don't think they can reach that last bit. This remaining bit of hay, I just raked it over here along the fence because they can reach their heads through and eat it that way, but the way this bunk feeder's set up, it's too tall for them to like reach down around and grab that stuff that was right up against it. So not really how this was designed, but sometimes you just got to make do with what you got. These guys still have plenty of hay from yesterday, as I would expect. These 2 round bales will last the calves about 3 days. The first 2 days, they're just kind of eating all they can, and then on the 3rd day, I'll have to rake this out so that they can reach it. But it seems to be pretty consistent that that's about how much they go through. In about a month, we will select our harvest steers for next year and our replacement heifers, and then the rest of the calves that don't make the cut will be going down to the sale barn. And that'll be good because we'll get our one big paycheck for the year, and we will start going through much less hay after all these guys are gone. I think that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.